thing. It records the
This
video
meeting is being recorded.
and it'll give all the notes and action items and a summary.
Let me write this down.
Yeah. And I can send it to you too, just so you could see it.
Well, that's cool as hell. Thank you.
It's freaking amazing.
Fathom. Okay.
Yeah. Game changer. Because then you can just, like when you schedule the person, like if I think this should automatically send it to you after because you were emailed in the Zoom link. But if it doesn't, let me know, and then I just send the link to you, and then it gives you the link to the video automatically and the notes.
Nice.
I know. So then if you're like podcasting, then I just copy the summary and then put it as my
And
description.
put out there. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Good times. I know. Okay, so it's already recording. So yeah. So we'll just chit chat,
Absolutely.
talk about mediumship, talk about like your classes that you have coming up, like any circles or live stuff that you have. Feel free to share all that, and then I'll set a timer for like 20 minutes. Does that work?
Yeah, definitely. That's
Okay.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And is your last name Lucia?
Yes, Lucia.
Yes. Okay, that's what I say. Okay. And then we'll just say like at the end like how to find you too.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
I miss you.
Oh, same girl. Oh God, oh man. Anyways, okay, we'll share about it. But okay, everybody, welcome to this episode of So Much Genergy. It's me, Jenny McKinney, here with my mentor, friend, and just an amazing human and animal lover, Natalie Lucia, all the way from New Jersey, right?
New York.
New York. Yes. I knew it was something with the new.
New.
We're all new. So welcome. Oh.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so good to see you. I know we haven't seen each other in a minute. And I was thinking, I was like, ooh, like I could put some little spirit pom-poms, which are like hair jazz hands I thought about.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So, yeah, why don't you share a little bit about yourself with the audience? Because I know that you're near and dear to my heart. So why don't you share about yourself and then we'll just introduce you to the audience.
Perfect. So let me start when I was little, I guess. I would see things outside my window that I thought were like strange people.
Yeah.
And it would scare me and I wouldn't sleep at night.
Mm.
And of course, karma is being awful right now for, like it's just being awful. And growing up, and I also had like this tree outside my window. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know to this day if that tree was a real tree or not.
Oh.
Yeah. So I would see this tree and these people outside my window, and I just didn't know what was going on. And I would be scared I wouldn't sleep.
Yeah.
So, I was like 10 years old and still calling my parents into my bedroom, like to come save me because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Fast forward to becoming an adult after mediumship and spirituality and everything opened up, I realized that that was my spirit team.
Mm.
But let me tell you, they scared the hell out of me. Honestly, it was super scary.
Yeah.
And I think I still don't know whether the tree is real or not, because I think there's so many messages and symbolism and things that I have to unwrap that in this lifetime I really won't. Honestly, I really won't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I have to give time to.
Yeah.
But through tragedy and through trauma, my mediumship opened in life.
Mm.
And I don't think I would change anything, any of the horrifics I've experienced because of where I am today.
Yes.
Yeah. And I get to teach you guys, and I get to do readings, and I get to work with animals, and I get to do so many things that I just absolutely adore.
Yes. Yes. And sharing your gifts too is so amazing, and to have you not regret anything, because I think sometimes people will say, like, I wish this wouldn't have happened. I wish this was different. I wish, because nobody wants the hardships,
No, they don't. They absolutely don't.
Yeah.
And I just feel like anyone who is listening now, that's like, I just wish that I would get through this stage. I just wish that this would be over. Or I remember when I started mediumship, I wish that I would just be, professional already. You rush time. Don't do that,
Right.
because that's one thing we'll never get back,
Yeah.
you know.
And and I don't know if you've had this, especially with students, because you do teach mediumship, that when you have students that are like, trying to rush you and your process in the spirit world, and they are almost frustrated, or that, do you feel like that creates blocks?
I think that creates ego,
Ooh,
which,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And you know how I feel about ego.
yeah.
um, Sorry, karma is being awful for any. Um,
And Karma's a cat.
yeah, yeah. For anyone who's like, yes, karma, not karma out there, spirit world, don't kill me. Karma's a cat, and she has no boundaries.
Right.
Yeah, I find that what happens is people want, and I want to be the best, and I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want this, and then they start to compare themselves to others
Mm-hmm.
and get very angry that why is that one have that and I don't? Or why did that one do better than me, instead of celebrating?
Yes.
And what I find is that through that, ego builds.
Mm-hmm.
That's very dangerous than
Yes.
blocking. So
Yeah.
if I had a choice between being blocked or having ego butt in, I'd rather be blocked.
Yeah, because you can blast that apart.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Ego is
ego is,
very difficult for us to see on our own,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and we hurt people thinking that it's going to build us to be better.
Right.
And that for me, when I see that in others, I cringe because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they're digging themselves a hole that they don't even see,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And with my tribe of my people, we have an agreement.
Mm.
If we see ego in one another at any point, we are to call one another out immediately.
Mm. So when you say your tribe, is it physical people or your spirit team?
My physical people,
Okay.
my physical people.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because my physical people, spirit, my spirit team will be like, look,
Oh,
she's letting ego sneak in. Let's see how that works,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, while my physical people will say, hello, a-hole,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You
Yeah.
better take a step back and reset yourself and disconnect,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
and I, just to share an experience, like as a student, being in the room with people that do that, it I could feel my personal energy pulling back, knowing that those people are, because then they get judgy and they put
Hmm.
this energy out there of like, well, who do you think you are? And then it's really like, well, who are you? Like, we're all in this together. You know what I mean? It
Right,
should be even
right.
playing field, but then you create these weird like energy bumps in there.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And sometimes what happens is that we get defensive and then we get in our ego. And then we're
Right.
in a bad place, which
Yeah.
is really a slippery slope and dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And that's, it's so funny because I can hear you, in previous classes, when you're like giving the like the goodies at the beginning of like, look, leave your BS at the door. Like, you don't get to bring that in here in this space, right? And
No?
you just call it out, and
Yep,
then,
yep,
yeah,
I will. I
yeah,
will. And sometimes I sit back and I watch because sometimes the lesson has to be learned,
right,
you know?
yeah,
And sometimes I let an individual dig their hole with ego, and then when it doesn't work out, go, so how did that feel?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that didn't feel good, did it?
Right. Yeah. And just to honor the space that they're in, which
Yeah,
is an amazing teacher, right? Because you can't keep giving them all the answers, because it's not,
they're
giving
not
the
going to
person the
learn.
answers isn't going to help them, right?
No, they're not going to learn,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Which is for me too. I remember I was up on platform once and my mentor, who's probably listening to us right now, laughing, I lost my link
Mm.
in front of probably 80 people.
And can you just explain what that means if people don't know what that would mean?
Absolutely. So I go up and I connect with the spirit world, and my training is very strict. So I got up and I was like, oh, I have a grandmother here or a mother. And my mentor was like, excuse me, it can't be both. It's one or the other. So go back and find out if you have a grandmother or a mother, because we're not going to disrespect spirit. And you know me, I was like, oh shit, you know? So I
And did
went
she say
back.
that physically, or was she in the
She said that
spirit world?
physically out loud.
Oh,
It was
oh, in
crazy,
front of
physically
everybody.
out
Okay.
loud in front of everybody.
Oh,
And now today, what a phenomenal lesson.
yeah.
In that moment, I went back to spirit. I got in my own way.
Mm,
Oh my God, what are you? You can't be both. I need to figure out which one you are. How are you presenting yourself here today? Da, da, da.
yeah.
Got a couple of more pieces of evidence, but then lost my connection because my brain, my ego got in the way.
Yes.
How am I going to look? What is this going to be? Instead of surrendering and trusting that not only did my mentor have my back in this lesson, but the spirit world had my back in this lesson.
Right.
Instead, I got into how am I looking in front of people? What am I going to sound like? Oh my God, what's going to happen? Blah, 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 all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And she said, you lost your lane, please sit down.
Oh, wow. I'm like so sweaty for you. You know what I mean? Just I can feel the energy of you in that moment. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah.
But what a great lesson.
Yeah.
What a great lesson, because now I know I get up on that stage. You tell me, no, I don't understand. That's okay. Thank you for giving me a no. Let me go back and let me figure out where I'm at. Let
Yeah.
me figure out where my misinterpretation is,
Yeah.
which is really important.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to not stop people from being in their ego or making their mistakes or getting in their way, because that's part of their lesson. Could you imagine if she would have linked in with me and fixed it all?
Yeah.
That would have done nothing for me.
Right.
If she came in and she said, oh, my love, I know you felt grandma, but it's mom. Oh, and she died of a heart attack and she has 3 kids. That would have, then
Yeah.
I would have gotten nothing out of it.
Right. Can you share your description of how spirit gives information? Because I love how you talk about how we get information from spirit. So can you share that with the audience?
So how my introduction, like how I see things, I feel things, I know things, I smell things sometimes, which is terrible.
Yeah.
And I joke around and I say it's like family game night.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. And when you have everybody together in a big competition and they're fighting and spilling stuff and yelling over each other and doing all this stuff, that's what's going on.
Right.
That's exactly what's going
Yeah.
on.
And we're trying to decipher and get you the information.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's why sometimes we misinterpret things.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes we have to take a moment and just breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why sometimes we say we hear Michael and the name is Matthew.
Right. Yeah.
Or we feel in our heart center and it's actually the lungs. That's why we have to kind of reset ourselves at times.
Yes. Yes. And just if you're lost too, what I have found is just ask them the question. You know what I mean? Sometimes like, I can remember you talking about how it's like playing charades, and it is, they'll do that with you, but at the same time, if you would just ask a question, because at first I guess I didn't realize, like, oh, this is like a two-way communication, right? I'm not just like word vomiting from like what they're giving me, which I thought was the case, but you're having a conversation. Like,
Yep.
why would that spirit trust you if you're not even communicating with them?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
as brilliant as they were in the physical world, they're much smarter in the spirit world.
Right.
So give them the
Right.
credit that they deserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we don't have the confidence to question them, could you imagine how that must feel?
Right.
That they're not going to trust in us if we don't trust in them.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's probably, if there's like a biggest lesson learned of like connecting with spirit, I feel like that's it. Like, that's the overall, like, you have to trust them for them to trust you. And if they're not trusting you, why would they give you anything?
Right.
Yeah. And so if they're not giving you information, check yourself and see what is happening. Are you in your ego? Are you blocked? Are there other things happening?
Are you scared?
Yes. I know. And that's usually yes.
Fear is a big thing. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? I always say, practice makes progress.
Yes.
When you're starting this journey out, take that chance.
Right.
Get up there and say, I have a grandma, and be wrong and have a
Yeah.
mom. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. And that's too, you offer a practice space. Is that correct? You have
Yes.
a Facebook
circle.
group that
Yep.
people can join
Yep.
and say that they need help and
Yep. So in my
sitters.
practice circle, it's practicing with live readings and things like that. And it's really so that you can take a chance in a safe space and be wrong.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, because we don't have safe. What's going on with me? We don't have safe spaces,
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
And I try to offer people the things that I needed and that I need
Right.
in my development.
Yes. Even professionals are still needing to work on their skills.
Oh,
So there's times where people are like, "Oh, wow, I'm surprised to see you in this circle even though you're doing paid readings." The thing is, like, if I'm trying to work on something or tap into something different, I would love to do it in a safe space, exactly like you're saying.
and I always join classes. I always watch webinars.
Yeah.
I always practice and go back to the beginning fundamentals.
Right.
It's something that you should never. There's two things that I find that mediums do that have not been doing this for years. One is they don't trust themselves to make a mistake. And two is they start teaching themselves too soon. So they start offering classes and workshops and this and that before they're even ready.
Oh
Which
gosh.
can actually make you take steps back in your progression, where you have to start over again in a way.
Sure.
And it also messes other people up.
Right.
My mentor was very strict with saying, like, do not start teaching until after you've done X amount of years.
Right.
Yeah. And she also always said, and go back to those beginner classes.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah.
I love the beginner classes, watching them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because you feel so many emotions, right? You're like, everybody is so raw and scared and
and shocked. They get something like, oh my God, how did that happen? And I'm like, can you trust in yourself now?
right.
Like, look at what you just did,
Yeah, yeah. That's so amazing too, just to have a leader and a cheerleader at the same time. That's what I feel like you're amazing at, and then just holding the sacred space. So I just want to share an example too with the audience. So in one of our sessions, I was connecting with a father, and he was showing me some like a movie night, and you were connected in with me. So that's what's amazing, is Natalie can connect in with you and see what you're seeing, and feel the things that you're feeling, right? Which is a whole different connection, because then I'm trying to stay out of my head, because I'm like, well, I know she can see this, so like, get it right, and you're like, okay. And so I mentioned something about popcorn, and you're like, okay, what's in the popcorn? And I was like, oh, what's in the popcorn? And I'm trying to get in the popcorn, because I know you can see something in the popcorn, and I can't get into the popcorn, right? Like, there's something that's like, I don't know, but I can smell it, but I can't see it, And so then, we waited a little bit, and it wasn't coming. And so then at the end, the sitter had said there was like M&Ms and candy in this popcorn. I was like, oh, I was so close, like in it, but couldn't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it was just so amazing, and it was so fun to have an experience like that, to be like, you're this close, and if I had gotten it, that would have been great. But like, the lesson was so much more, because I couldn't get it, and then you were there to support me in that. I mean, I had gotten 15 other things, which is great, but then I was like, I just wanted that one.
And but that's me pushing you, right?
Yeah.
That's me pushing you to take that extra step,
Yes.
you know, which was part of my training too. My
Right.
mentor would say, okay, go over to the cupboard, open it up.
Yeah.
How many shelves are there? What's on the shelf?
Yeah.
What color is it? You know, and it's that journey. And
Yeah.
and I love the journeys,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Don't you feel too that that is a sense of remote viewing?
It
Or
It depends because what's happening is it's not a sense of remote viewing when I'm reading mediumistically
okay.
because the spirit is taking me on that journey. So
Okay.
the
So they're
spirit
showing you.
is showing me.
Oh,
They're taking me to
gotcha.
that cupboard. They're showing me what I need to see. I'm communicating with them saying, show me. You know,
Okay.
remote viewing, I would have to remove myself from my physical body and actually go to that space and see what I'm receiving from there.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Yes, I understand the difference. So, yes. Yes. And one last question is what is the either the craziest and most interesting thing? Do you get smells? Have you had smells?
Oh, yeah, that smells.
Yeah. What would be the most interesting smell or most memorable smell that you had during a reading?
Smell. So, well, actually, I'm going to change this a little bit with
Okay.
smell.
Yeah.
So I work with animals with smell. It sounds so terrible. I work with animals and I work with
Oh,
missing pets a lot
yes.
often.
Yes.
And ever since I had my first child, the smell of tuna fish makes me extremely nauseous. Like it
Oh,
just goes to me and I just want to like kind of vomit.
yeah.
And it's really bad for me.
Yeah.
So using tuna, so I have my sitters, if their cat is missing, put tuna outside. And I use my sense of smell to actually go into the cat and smell for the tuna. The moment that I can have that bodily reaction to the tuna, I can let them know your cat's radius is this many miles or this many feet because I'm using the sense of their cat to have a
Mm,
reaction in my body. I could tell them mackerel, I could tell them sardines. There's other things I can use,
yeah.
but I use the tuna because of the physical reaction. It's making me nauseous right now just thinking about it.
I know.
But because of the physical reaction of what I have with that. So that if I
Yes.
don't smell it, then I have to go in and be like, hey, listen, where are you? What's going on? I need you to trigger your nose and try to find out where that scent is coming from.
Right. Yes. Gosh, I love that so much. Do you work with do you work with people to find their pets, or do you work with an agency, or how does that work?
I work with people. I'm very quiet about my lost pets
Okay.
because I need to make sure that these cases are true cases.
Mm,
So there's people out there that don't come from the right
yes.
heart space. So I'm referral only, honestly,
Okay. Okay.
or people who follow me.
Yeah.
But I work and I only work my own. So if there's another pet psychic investigator person, I
You're
don't work
out.
with others. I
Okay.
don't because of ego.
Mm,
I have no ego. If I
right.
get a hit, I have found that other people be like, well, why does she think that? Maybe it's this. Or if they get a hit, I'm super happy, but they're like, then they sometimes they're like, well, why did you tell Natalie I got that hit? So I just prefer to work on my own.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And where can people find you for classes? Like you have a 8-week class coming up, is that right?
Yep, yep. So I have the 8-week beginners mediumship course coming up. It's all online. And it is intensive, right?
Yeah, and it is. I mean, if you, but it's so loving. It's
Yeah.
so like it's personalized. It's magical. I mean, that's the only way to. If you aren't even sure like what is happening, take this course because it's it's amazing.
Yeah, it's for those people who really have an interest but have no idea what the hell they're doing, or have a feeling they know what they're doing but have no idea what direction to go in. You know,
Yes.
I love this
Yes.
course. I only offer it once a year, and I always tell people like jump in it if you can, because for me
Yeah.
it's time consuming, but I give the time, so that's why I could only give it once a year.
Gotcha.
You know, because of
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
I
is this
have
group or individual?
it's group.
Group. Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
small group, and
Yeah.
it's good because you get lessons from other people, and other people get
Yes.
lessons from you, and you know there's all
Yes.
that stuff. And there's two small assessments with me one on one, that I give. That's very useful for people. So I do it week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I do the first one, and then week 8 I do the second one to show the growth. Because it's important that people need to see their growth. We don't see our own growth.
Right.
But when
Right.
someone points it out to us, we're like, damn, you know,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I love that course. And then I offer mentorship one-on-one, obviously. That's 4 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's individualized. There is no pre-program for that.
Okay.
Absolutely
Yes.
individualized.
Yes.
I
Both
also,
amazing opportunities. And then you have a
yeah,
practice circle.
I have a practice circle that might start again once softball season is over.
Okay.
I have a practice circle. I have When the Soul Speaks, which is when I go live on my Facebook page and do readings,
Yes.
so people can see. There's a lot I do
Yeah.
that I tell people, if you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to go, if you're not sure if you want a reading or not, if you're not sure if you want to take a course or not, if you're not sure, like, check me out. Check out what I do. I have nothing
Right.
to hide. You
Right.
know, follow me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Watch my lives. Ask questions.
Yeah.
I I don't sugarcoat anything. What you see is what you get.
100%. I can put a stamp of approval on that. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And then what your Facebook group, do they have the opportunity to join that, or is that for
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes, yes. So I have a Facebook group. It has a long name.
Yeah.
I have a Facebook group where you don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be anything.
Yeah.
If you have a loss and you're looking for readings and you're willing to support people who are learning, that group is for you.
Okay.
If you're learning and you want a practice spot, this group is for you.
Yes.
You know, it's a place for us to support one another from both communities.
Yes.
Honestly, that's what it is. And I don't test people in their skills because that's not my job. Who am I to say, oh, you're good enough to do a reading or you're not good enough to do a reading? This is a safe space for everyone involved.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah. And where can they sign up for your classes or your like
You
find
can
you?
find everything. You can find my Facebook groups, my TikTok, my Instagram, all my courses at
Yeah.
natalielluciamedium.com.
Okay.
And
Awesome. Yeah.
all my, I'm sorry.
Karma
Karma's
just
like,
walked in
time's
front of
up.
the camera. Karma's like, I'm here.
Yes, it's all about me now. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about me?
Yeah. Talk about
Um,
ego.
yeah, oh my God. Don't even get me started with this one. The world revolves around her.
Awesome. Well, keep being amazing. Thanks for being here, and thank
Sure.
you for what you do for the missing pets. I know that that's just so special too, as well,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love it all. I do love it all.
Yeah. I
Except
know
for ego. I love everything else.
everything else, but that in its own place.
Exactly, exactly. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. Thanks. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and tell your daughter good luck at her last game.
Thank you. I will. I
Yeah.
will.
All right, Toots.
All
Well,
right.
good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, I think oh, hang on one sec. I'm gonna tell it to. I think I stopped it. Did I? Okay. I don't know if it's.
I think it's still
Oh,
recording.
it's
It's
still recording.
recording.